A shape-shifting phantom is taking men to the afterlife. Where did this otherworldly spirit come from? Don't miss it. The clairvoyants will uncover the truth behind a horrifying murder. This is Psychic Investigations. Real and shocking stories only. Individuals who call themselves clairvoyants investigate high-profile criminal cases and unbelievable paranormal phenomena. Three Ukrainians, lifelong friends. Slavik Nemesh, a young entrepreneur, 28 years old. This is one of his last photos. Ivan Hasi, 25, a construction worker. His little son, Mihailo, had just turned 1. Ivan Danch, 22, recently graduated and newly married.
3 funerals at once. All 3 are gone.
They had been friends since childhood, and they all died mysteriously on the same day in a horrific car crash.
The car spun out and flipped over the bridge.
According to law enforcement, the driver lost control, causing the vehicle to plunge off the bridge. The 3 passengers were unable to escape and drowned.
I just don't understand how they could have veered off so badly that the car flipped onto its roof in the stream.
This is the spot where the car crashed with 3 men inside. It defies all logic. How could they drown in such a shallow amount of water?
There was barely any water, just a tiny bit.
If even one had survived, but all 3, they all died.
Their relatives searched for the young men all night. They drove along that road many times, both at night and even in the morning. Yet neither they nor other drivers on that route saw a car overturned in the water beneath the bridge.
No one saw it.
The car in the water was discovered only the next day around noon.
They lay there all night. No one saw them. Maybe they could have been saved.
One of the grieving mothers believes her son's wife is to blame, that she used dark magic to take his life.
Her mother gave him a small candle to keep in the car.
Moreover, the woman says she found other strange items in the yard.
We found all sorts of things. Trinkets, coins. While sweeping the yard, I even found a pin.
Could dark magic really have caused one young man's death? And if so, why did his 2 closest friends die alongside him?
The whole village was in mourning. Such an unimaginable tragedy. Young men, their whole lives ahead of them. It's terrible.
The families of the deceased turned to the psychics because, after their deaths, the young men appeared in dreams, as if trying to convey something.
They appeared in dreams, all 3 of them, soaking wet in the water, asking for help.
Coming to their aid are Ukrainian clairvoyant Olena Kurilova and psychic from Azerbaijan, Payal Alekperov.
Olena, I see a woman with black hair and tear-filled eyes. She takes a photo of this young man, cuts it, burns it. And now I hear this man speaking to me, pleading, "Go to her. Tell everyone the truth."
And I see a child. He is walking down a road, but he is not alone. Beside him walks a massive wolf. And gradually, they both become transparent, invisible.
The psychics decided to head straight to the cemetery, where all 3 young men were buried.
Hello.
Hello. We are glad you came. I am Slavik's mother.
The moment we arrived here, I saw behind all of you a massive entity, resembling a dog or a wolf. I don't yet know if this is connected to our investigation, but there is definitely something supernatural about it. It is extremely hostile. We should go to the graves.
But Olena Kurilova, without saying a word, suddenly turns in the opposite direction and walks into the crowd. She carefully looks into the eyes of each person until she stops in front of this young woman.
You're carrying his child.
This is Alina, wife of the youngest among the friends, Ivan. They had been married for only 2 weeks before the tragedy, and just days before the horrific accident, they found out they were expecting a baby.
I'm pregnant, I told him, and he was so happy.
But Ivan never got the chance to hold his child, and their unborn baby will never meet its father.
Let's go.
Natalia, your son was the one driving the car, wasn't he?
Yes.
He's waiting for you. Over there, that's his grave, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
He says, I was driving. Something came straight at me. That's what killed me. It wasn't a side impact or anything like that. I saw it coming and they tried to avoid it.
The spirit tells me I was driving. I ask him, were you going fast? He says, no, slowly. We weren't in a hurry. Everything was calm. But then something appeared right in front of us, and I had to swerve.
This is strange because, according to experts, there were no other vehicles on the road at the time of the crash.
What could have been on the road? He says, think of a woman. He's showing me an image of a woman, a young girl.
Incredibly, at that exact moment, the wife of one of the deceased, Alina, spotted a ghostly figure of a woman in the crowd.
A young woman, all in white. She flashed between the people for just a second. I didn't get a good look.
I ask the spirit, who is responsible for your deaths? And he keeps repeating, her. He's talking about a woman.
When Slavik's mother in tears bent over his grave, I saw his spirit. He turned to me and pointed at his own portrait on the headstone. The portrait cracked.
Ours cracked too, but about 3 weeks ago.
The portrait of the youngest, Ivan, also cracked right in the hands of his sister.
The photo was laminated, but it still cracked.
Panic spread among the gathered. The portraits on all 3 graves had shattered almost simultaneously.
The boys are trying to say something from the other side.
Wait, the crack in the portrait. Slavik's spirit is showing me woman's hands cutting up his photo and then burning it.
Unbelievable. Kayal Alekperov had seen a similar vision even before the investigation began.
She's taking this man's photos, cutting them, burning them.
It's his wife.
What's her name?
Natalia.
Slavik's wife, Natalia, isn't here. Shortly before the tragedy, the couple had a fight. She moved back in with her parents, and Slavik returned to his own family home.
Excuse me, but I have the feeling that you suspect Slavik's wife in this tragedy.
She did something to Slavik. Did she curse him or what?
The mother claims that after the tragedy, Natalia completely cut off contact with their family. She didn't even come to the funeral.
No mourning, nothing.
After the crash, the grieving mother wanted to collect her daughter-in-law's wedding photos of Slavik. However, Natalia said she had destroyed them all, cut them up, and burned them.
I want to see her.
The psychics headed to Slavik's wife. Word of their arrival spreads quickly through the village. People gather in front of Natalia's house. Eventually, she steps outside with her mother.
Hello. We've come to understand the tragedy that took your husband's life and the lives of his 2 friends.
The woman doesn't answer. She's overcome with emotion.
Get her some water.
Natalia, rest your head on my shoulder. Come on, lean in. She's struggling to sit upright.
Natalia, I can feel your fear. Who or what are you afraid of?
They keep calling me. They say they'll bury me where he is. Why? Am I guilty of something? I never wanted his death.
Why didn't you come to the funeral?
Because you told me you'd kill me, that you'd throw acid on me.
Did your suspicions about your daughter-in-law start because of an object?
There was a candle.
It turned out that shortly before his death, Slavic's mother had found a half-burned candle in his car. When she asked him about it, he said his wife had given it to him.
Could something have been done to that candle?
But the candle was from a holy place, wasn't it?
It was from the church, from when they blessed the water.
Stop. Your argument doesn't matter anymore. There was a shadow behind Slavic's wife. It was the spirit of the deceased, and I heard only his quiet words. She is not guilty.
Natalia didn't do any magic.
You loved him very much.
If I didn't love him, I wouldn't have married him.
But Natalia, the photos of Slavic, why did you destroy them?
After he died, I burned everything. I didn't want to have anything left.
The woman says that after her husband's death, she went through an incredible emotional stress, and now any memories of him cause her unbearable pain. On top of that, there is a feeling of guilt, since shortly before the tragedy, they had argued, and because of that, Natalia decided to get rid of everything that reminded her of Slavic.
Nobody knows how I even survived those days when he crashed.
Natalia.
Wait a little, Natalia. Help or she'll fall. Natalia.
Bring ammonia, please. It's in the car.
Natalia became so upset that she lost consciousness. It's no surprise, because for 6 months after the tragedy, almost everyone in the village blamed her for the deaths of the men because of her mother-in-law.
Please, calm down. You've both lost what was most precious to you. There's nothing left to fight over. Believe me, she truly loved Slavic and never wished him harm.
If I've wronged you in any way, forgive me. I swear I never wanted any of this.
No one can hold back their tears. These women haven't spoken in 6 months. For the first time since the tragic accident, they reconciled.
I keep seeing the image of a wolf, but now I feel a feminine energy. It's a she-wolf. The wolf I saw was actually a spirit, a female spirit. That's exactly how the boys saw it before they died. And that's why I'm seeing it the same way.
It's unbelievable, but later, one of Slavic's relatives confessed that before the psychics arrived, she had a strange dream. In it, all 3 of the deceased came to her.
They said they saw a spirit, and it took them away.
But I don't understand why then. Whose spirit is this, and why did it take these 3 lives?
Wait, I hear those words again. She took us. It feels like death lingers on this road.
It turned out, this wasn't the only accident that had happened here.
2 boys were hit and killed while biking at night.
A boy was struck, then further down a whole family.
It feels like this entire road is paved with accidents.
Locals are truly afraid of this stretch of road.
It's terrifying for everyone, for our own people, for strangers.
All these crashes have one thing in common. Drivers say they see a shadow or a figure just before the accident.
Many villagers claim they've seen something just like the clairvoyant's vision.
Right on the bridge, a shadow stands there. Headlights can't cut through it at all.
We need to go where the men died. Olena, as I walked this road, I saw something following the boys. It was right behind them.
Something not of this world.
It cries, moans, wanders. You can hear the screams and groans.
This entity looks like a wolf.
Incredibly, a local woman later claimed she saw something similar, right at the bridge where Slavic's car went off the road.
Its face was like a dog's, with the ears are like a dog's. It appeared suddenly, then vanished.
Slavic saw that wolf in front of him. That's what caused the crash.
Based on the car's trajectory, the sharp turn, followed by erratic movement, suggests that the driver reacted instinctively. Most likely, he suddenly saw an obstacle appear in his path, and in an attempt to avoid a collision, made a sudden and forceful turn of the wheel.
But what was it? Investigators found no physical obstructions at the scene of the accident. Was this truly something supernatural?
Only men are dying here. Whatever haunts this road targets them.
A boy and 3 girls were in the car. The girls survived.
Most of the victims here were men.
They're being taken by a woman's spirit. The boy's souls warned us. She took us. A female spirit appeared on the road before Slavic, just like with the others who died here. But there are also living witnesses who have seen the spirit on this road.
Yes, people said they saw something.
Did they see ghosts?
Yes, they did.
There's a woman's shadow walking there.
There's some kind of apparition standing on the bridge, a shadow.
I see 2 spirits here. A little boy about 5 and a woman.
Yes, there were ghosts. I saw a woman holding the boy's hand.
I personally saw a child and a woman crossing the road at 3 in the morning. The car stalled and I couldn't start it. It was so terrifying. I locked the doors and sat in the car until morning.
They say they saw a woman and a child.
A little boy, and with him, some kind of entity. It's huge, like a werewolf.
The woman turns into a she-wolf and deliberately causes accidents. She's seeking revenge for herself and the child. Wait, I'm being drawn toward the water like by a magnet. The she-wolf with the child, she was just here. This is the place of their death, right here. What happened to them?
It was like I felt some warmth on my shoulder. I turned around thinking someone was standing there.
She's showing me her death. She's kneeling by the shore and there's a man beside her. He picks up a stone and strikes her in the head, then throws her body into the water. Oh my God.
I have a sense that the child was killed by his own father.
Yes, I understand what you mean, Olena. Wait. The woman and child were in the car. Her husband, the child's father, was driving. The car stops here. The man gets out, grabs the child from the mother's arms, runs with him to the river and drowns him. The woman tries to save her son but can't. He's much stronger. He kills the child in front of her eyes, then kills her too. It's horrifying. But why is he doing this?
I have a feeling that jealousy was the reason.
Few know this terrifying story, but our film crew managed to uncover some detail.
The father killed his son. He was jealous of his wife.
The man killed the woman and the child here in the ditch.
I spoke with local law enforcement officers who confirmed that 20 years ago, a man did indeed kill his son and wife. For some reason, he thought the son wasn't his, and demanding a confession from his wife, he drowned the child. After the boy died, he killed the wife. He then fled the scene and is still missing.
This woman is in utter despair. Her spirit is furious with all men. Olena, this is a mother's love turned into hellish hatred toward those who took her child's life. And all men.
She can take more.
This spirit must be calmed. I felt the pain of that woman. Her child was killed before her eyes. She was tortured. After her death, she found no peace. When I stood by the water and prayed for her and her child to finally rest, I heard a terrible howl. It was her, the she-wolf I've seen throughout this investigation. In reality, that woman's spirit is outwardly aggressive, but inside, it's pure hellish pain.
Thank you. We are very grateful for everything.
The locals continued to thank the psychics for a long time, grateful for helping them understand what happened to their loved ones. The road of death. A supernatural entity provokes horrifying accidents and takes drivers. Where did this killer ghost come from, and can it be stopped? Don't miss the unbelievable investigation by the people with supernatural abilities. The locals fear this 1-kilometer stretch of the road between Ukrainian villages near Kyiv as if it were cursed, as it takes people to the afterlife. Terrible car accidents occur here regularly. A special section of the local cemetery has even been reserved for those who crashed here.
All of these are their graves.
Drivers try to be extremely cautious, but the number of accidents keeps rising uncontrollably. The locals live in fear. They say it all started around 10 years ago, though no one has any idea why.
For example, my classmates. They died in a car crash here. 2 others were hit and 3 more crashed. Then another one crashed and another about 300 meters away. So many people died.
This stretch seems cursed.
Accidents on this road happen for various reasons, regardless of weather conditions. Both drivers and pedestrians perish. Yet, this stretch can't be classified as dangerously accident-prone.
During daylight and in clear weather, visibility extends over 1 kilometer in both directions. There are no turns or slopes on the road. There are no objective factors that could contribute to the occurrence of accidents on this stretch of road.
I was driving to my sister's. When we left the village, there didn't seem to be any fog, but then it was like hitting a solid wall. I literally couldn't see anything. On that day, there were about 5 or 6 accidents on this stretch. That very day. And then, about a week later, a few more guys died.
And so we started thinking of calling the psychics. Maybe they can reveal some secret to us.
Psychics Hala Polishchuk and Kayal Alekerov take on the case.
I see a strange image. It's a young woman. She's very beautiful, but she looks unusual. I see her dressed in white, with flames burning on her head. She walks along the road, collecting dead flowers. And I also see shapeshifters. It's no good. We need to investigate.
The psychics arrive at the dangerous stretch of the road, where the locals are already waiting for them.
These people here lost their relatives and friends.
Please help us.
I feel like you've already tried to do something about it.
We called a priest and had him to bless the road and install a cross, but it didn't help.
What is this infernal power that is unaffected by prayers and blessings?
We need to tune in.
The psychics spent about an hour carefully examining every inch of the dangerous stretch of road. However, as soon as they began their work, the wind suddenly picked up and the sun hid behind clouds.
Like some kind of supernatural force was against us figuring out what was happening there.
This feels like an anomalous zone. I've experienced this before. When? In the 90s, I was in an accident. The taxi driver lost consciousness and crashed into a guardrail.
This area is strange, paranormal. I've only felt this kind of energy once in my life, back in my homeland. In Azerbaijan, there's a mountain pass where many accidents occur. When I drove past that place, I lost control of the car. It felt like some mystical force was driving it instead of me. I got thrown off the road.
I'm an experienced driver and I've been doing it professionally for years. But instead of braking, I pressed the gas as if someone controlled my foot.
I'm starting to see images. People who died in the accidents. I see dozens of deaths. Wait. Another picture. 3 young men. They died right here.
Strangely, the sun reappeared just as suddenly as it had disappeared.
3 guys in a car. They're driving and suddenly a dark car, whoosh, comes straight at them.
Those were our sons. They were driving here and a Jeep hit them head on.
How old were your sons?
18. Here are the 3 wreaths. The accident was right here.
The boys went to the river to swim, but never made it.
The Jeep drove straight at them.
They collided head-on, in broad daylight. None of them survived. One was taken to the hospital, but he died later. All 3 died.
The boys were completely sober. They got into an accident on a straight road in broad daylight. This accident shouldn't have happened. I feel that the driver of the oncoming car was blinded by some extraordinary light. Some kind of force made him swerve and drive into the opposite lane. But I saw another similar accident. A young man was driving, and he too was blinded by the same force. He suffered for a long time before he died.
Oh yes, it was my friend. It happened 6 years ago. He crashed right where the van is standing. There were no other participants in the accident. Just his car. It was split in half.
In broad daylight, the young man flew off the road into a ditch. The car was totally destroyed, and the driver died.
I hear some strange sound. It's either a scream or a squeal. My ears just popped. It's coming from this side.
As it turned out, the locals also hear mysterious sounds on this road.
My dad is 48 years old. He's a strong man. He says he barely endured being on that road. He heard unbearable screaming. He said he'd never heard such a shriek in his life.
Kayal, maybe the voice you're hearing is the key to solving what's happening on this road. We need to find whose voice it is. We need to tune in to the most recent tragedy that happened here.
The energy from the recent accident is the strongest.
Let's tune into this guy. For some reason, he's showing me a woman. And she's crying. They even look alike. I think it's his mother. His spirit says we need to find her.
Let's go. I hope he helps us understand what this force is.
The boy lived in a village 3 kilometers away. Sasha Melnik was only 17. He was walking home from a disco in a neighboring village when he was fatally hit by a car. His mother still can't cope with this devastating loss.
Come, let me hug you. Just a hug. Come here. Oh, dear.
The grieving mother refused to talk on camera. For about half an hour, the psychics consoled the woman and then continued their work.
The mother is in a terrible state, and she's constantly connected to the spirit of her boy. I connected with this spirit through her. He told me that only young men die on this road.
It's unbelievable, but as it turned out, it's true. Only young men, both drivers and pedestrians, die on this road.
My son was injured in an accident. 2 weeks later, 2 more kids were hit on the same road. Losing your child is a tragedy, and I don't want such incidents to happen there again.
Girls never. Only boys. Only boys and young men.
Hala, but on the road, I felt the death of an older man.
That's strange.
He was about 50 years old.
That must be the eldest, that father who died. But the rest were all young boys, not even married yet.
As it turned out, in September 2011, a local farmer, 47-year-old Ruslan Sivak, died in an accident on this dangerous stretch of road.
I have a feeling that the man wasn't supposed to die. His death was a mistake. The force taking lives on this road made an error.
As the night fell, the psychics decided to continue the investigation the next day and set out in the morning to the family of the deceased man.
Hello.
To tune in to the energy of the deceased man, the psychics asked his widow for something that was his.
What was your husband's name?
Ruslan.
It feels like he was shattered to pieces.
The body of the deceased was left unrecognizable to spare anyone from seeing the horror. The coffin wasn't even opened during the funeral.
Your husband was supposed to be at home that night. He wasn't supposed to go anywhere. But he had a call.
Indeed, someone called him and told him to come pick up Zhenya.
That night, this woman's 15-year-old son, Zhenya, was in a neighboring village celebrating his friend's birthday. He planned to return by car with his older friend. But on the way home, the car hit a pothole precisely at the spot where the accidents occur. Like some mystical force was preventing the boys from moving further.
We tried to start the car, but I remember we couldn't go anywhere.
So my husband went to pick up our son. It was late, around 2 a.m.
Oh my God. Did your son witness what happened to his father?
Yes, it happened before his eyes.
The boy lost consciousness from the shock. He doesn't recall what happened next.
I saw him stop, park, and get out of the car. Then, I heard the screeching of tires, and the next thing I remember is the ambulance.
I'd like to speak to your son if that's all right. Hello, Zhenya. Apart from terror, you also feel guilt.
He shouldn't have come for me.
But it's not your fault. Zhenya was at the site, and on a subconscious level, I'm sure he saw the force that took his father. If we go together to this road, I may be able to reconstruct the scene and understand what force takes people's lives there.
The psychics decided to return to the dangerous stretch of road with the family of Ruslan Sivak.
I'm reading information from Zhenya and see that before your father's death, the anomalous zone expanded. It became enormous.
I see that he was hit by 2 cars. Your father came from that direction. He was pulled over here. He tried to cross the road, maybe to reach you. 2 cars were approaching at high speed. One was light-colored, and the other was dark. Your father decided to wait until they passed. Then, bang, the impact was right around here.
As it turned out, the man was hit by 1 car, but the fatal injuries were caused by another vehicle speeding behind it.
The white car hit him, and the blue one dragged him.
Men in uniform drove both cars. They were law enforcement officers.
Does it mean the poor man was killed by 2 defenders of law and order who were racing each other at high speed on the night road? It's simply incomprehensible.
I have a strange feeling on this road, as if death is walking nearby. And Ruslan's death was no accident.
Don't you agree, Valentina, that this unexpected incident with your son's car, the sudden call for your husband, and the fact that they were driving at that moment are truly mystical? But yes, mostly young people have died here, while your husband was older.
He was 47.
And I can't shake the thought that the boys were supposed to die at that moment.
So, it turns out that at the moment Ruslan died, the danger threatened his son and Jenya's friend. But the man's presence diverted death away from the boys.
He simply shielded them and saved them.
But why do young men die on this stretch of road? What force is taking them to the other side?
Khayal, do you remember on the way here, you felt the presence of a shapeshifter?
Yes, Hala. I also mentioned a girl in a white wedding dress. I see her dressed in white, with flames burning on her head. She walks along the road, collecting dead flowers.
Could it be a female shapeshifter?
As I understand it now, the fire on her head is red hair like yours, Hala.
The card of the girl's death. She was either preparing for a wedding or trying on a wedding dress. Oh, I've got goosebumps, look.
Somewhere here violence occurred against this girl. I feel she was raped.
Yes, there was such a case. Almost 11 years ago, a girl with red hair was found here.
Around the swamp.
The girl was very beautiful, red-haired and curly. She was brutally raped and then strangled and dragged into the pond.
As it turned out, the news of the brutal murder of 17-year-old Yulia caused a stir in all the surrounding villages. Her mutilated body was found in the forest near the road. But how is her terrible death connected to the accidents on this road?
The girl's spirit is calling me.
She was very naive. She didn't understand who she could trust and who she couldn't. She grew up on her own, like wild grass in the field.
But her parents were drunkard. She was like an orphan.
Violence in the most brutal form, because I sense internal organ rupture, like bruises or some kind of wounds on her chest, and her mouth is torn. This is so awful.
They tormented her badly, and that's what she died from.
I sense that before this, she talked to 2 guys who she knew. They were coming back from someplace where it was fun.
Yeah, they were at a disco in the neighboring village.
The Ginger Beauty was last seen alive at the disco. She went there with her friends. However, none of them noticed how or where she disappeared.
They interrogated all the young people in the village for 5 days.
A witness was finally found. A young man saw one of the local boys washing his bloodied hands in the restroom of a local cafe.
Someone said they saw him washing his hands. They were covered in blood, and he was washing them.
The forensics proved that the rapist was indeed the guy the witness pointed out.
I see 2 young men. They brought the girl's dead body here.
Kayal, I think only one of them brutally raped her.
And the other one helped him get rid of the body.
At the interrogation, the accomplice confessed that he helped carry the girl's mutilated body along this very road, all the way to the spot where the psychics are now.
I feel that one of them was punished while the other one wasn't.
One of them recently got out of prison. He served 10 years.
Although one of the two offenders served time in prison, what is 10 years of confinement compared to the life stolen from her? This is why the girl's spirit can't find peace.
She's collecting her fiancés, you see.
I saw the girl at the very beginning of the investigation. Back then, I saw her in a long white dress gathering dead flowers by the roadside. Now I see what it means. She wants a fiancé for herself. So she takes the young men she likes, and after their deaths, she gathers the flowers from the wreaths along the road to make a wedding bouquet.
It's just unbelievable. But not only the psychics see the spirit, she also appears to the locals.
Svetlana's son often goes to the neighboring village, and when he approaches these flowers, here, where people died, he says he constantly sees a white silhouette of a woman. When he gets closer, she disappears.
At first, I didn't believe him. "What are you making up?" I said. "That can't be." But he said, "Mom, what could someone be doing there at 1 or 2 o'clock at night?" He dashed home like mad.
The woman is desperate. She trembles at the very thought that her son could become the next victim. The psychics are her only hope to stop the dead bride.
"I'm begging you, please perform some kind of ritual, some kind of ceremony, so that nothing like this ever happens on this road again."
All right now.
Thank you so much.
Sometime after the psychics worked on this section of the road, the locals reached our editors. They say nobody dies here anymore, and the fatal accidents stopped. A mysterious death of a pregnant woman and her baby. What mystical force dragged the poor souls to the other world? And what does the Ghost Rider have to do with it? Find out right now. One of the most emotional investigations of the season. This woman's name is Inna. She lives in a small Ukrainian village. She works as a paramedic. Inna dedicated her entire life to raising her daughter, Nastya.
Nastya's father, he died. He developed a drinking problem in his final years.
Nastya's father drank himself to death, so her mother raised her alone. When Nastya grew up, she became a true beauty. After graduating from school, she moved to the city, became a hairdresser, and worked in a beauty salon. She eventually met a decent young man named Andrei. After they got married, she became pregnant.
Nastya was on cloud 9 when she was pregnant. She had a great husband, and her pregnancy was going well.
It seemed like Nastya had everything a woman could dream of. A loving husband, a home filled with happiness, and soon, her first child.
They would go to stores to look at cribs. They were getting ready, and they were even choosing names together.
They were preparing the bedroom. They wanted to renovate their apartment before the baby was born.
Nastya didn't quit her job and worked at the beauty salon until the last months of her pregnancy.
Everyone told her to go on maternity leave, but she insisted on working.
I always told her, Nastya, sit down. But no, she would be on the go all the time and wouldn't rest a minute.
Nastya's friend Natalia works as a cosmetologist at the same beauty salon. She used to study to become a gynecologist, so she often consulted the expectant mother about the pregnancy.
She always said she felt all right and never complained about anything.
But a month before the due date, Nastya suddenly fell unwell. It was a Thursday, and she had just arrived at work.
I asked, Nastya, are you okay? She said she felt pain in her abdomen. I told her it shouldn't hurt like that. I said, let's call a doctor. But she insisted she had just seen a doctor who assured her everything was fine.
However, Nastya later went back to the hospital. And no sooner had she made it through the door of the hospital than she fainted.
It was so shocking. She went to work in the morning, but was in the hospital by lunchtime.
They performed an emergency C-section, but unfortunately, the baby had already died.
The baby died due to Nastya's dangerously high blood pressure, which stopped the child's heart.
On her way to the hospital, Nastya called her husband and complained about the pain. Andrei was on a business trip not far from the city. He dropped everything and rushed home. He still can't talk about that awful day. After all, he lost his dearest people in the world, his beloved wife and their long-awaited son.
He died, and Nastya, she had this tube for artificial respiration in her mouth, and she couldn't speak. She pointed to her stomach with her hand and mumbled, "Where?" And I said, "The doctors are taking care of him. Everything will be all right."
Inna never found the courage to tell her daughter her son had died.
He was buried while she was still in the hospital.
3 days after the delivery, Nastya fell into a coma. Her critical condition and the baby's death were explained by a rare syndrome called HELLP, a late-onset toxemia. Relatives still can't understand why this happened. After all, the pregnancy was going without any issues.
We were all badly shocked.
I read online that it's an extremely rare condition that happens once per 100,000 pregnancies.
The syndrome suddenly arises during the last months of pregnancy, mainly in women giving birth for the first time. It involves increased blood pressure and impaired blood circulation in the placenta. As a result, the baby doesn't receive nutrients and oxygen and passes away. Even specialists who have studied this disease for many years can't yet determine the cause of its occurrence.
We can even hear the fetus's heartbeat, and there's movement. But unfortunately, within 2 or 3 days, such an outcome can occur for the fetus.
2 or 3 days, but not a couple of hours. Besides, Nastya underwent regular checkups and was even seen by a doctor on the day of the tragedy.
Andrei was desperately hoping that the doctors would save his wife.
However, Nastya's vital organs began to fail one by one, and the doctors couldn't save her. Eventually, the young woman passed away.
Seeing her clothes breaks my heart. I haven't washed anything after that. They still smell like Nastya's perfume.
Nastya's death was like a ton of bricks falling on all of us.
She passed away on the 9th day after the baby. It's unimaginable.
Andrei cried, saying, "I can't believe they're both gone."
When you expect that your wife gives birth to a baby, but instead you end up with 2 coffins. This is horrendous.
He lost all the meaning in life.
Nastya's family has no doubt that it wasn't a mere accident.
It's impossible that so much grief befalls a single family.
Especially since the night before Nastya was admitted to the hospital, her mother had a terrifying dream.
I was walking in a dense forest, carrying a baby in my arms. And then I heard the snapping of branches and pine needles. I heard a wolf's voice, growling, and the thumping of paws. Someone was being torn apart. Suddenly, a black cloud descended upon me, blocking out the sun. It became dark. That's when I thought something might happen to Nastya.
And the next day, Ina's daughter ended up in the hospital.
We need to know the cause. Why did she and the baby pass away?
Angelina is Nastya's elder sister. She is married and has a daughter, Sofia. She also had problems when giving birth, but she still can't wrap her head around what happened to Nastya. Psychics Olena Kurilova and Sofia Litvinova step in to investigate the enigmatic sudden death of the young mother and her baby.
When I looked at the photo, I had a vision of a woman so gaunt that she looked like a skeleton. However, it wasn't Nastya. She was holding a dead infant. The baby was torn to pieces, as if torn apart by a pack of dogs. The woman tried to say something to me, but she didn't have the strength to utter a word.
I asked the higher powers why this happened. Why did the young woman die? And they showed me a severed head, a bloody human head on a platter. And a girl of around 12 was running around it. She had a small mirror in her hands, and she was making sunlight reflections with it. But what does this mean?
I had a dream. In it, I woke up to the roar of a motorcycle engine and saw a motorcyclist. He told me, "My death is a payback. You must hurry." I feel like the events are unfolding further. There might be more deaths to come, one after another.
The psychics arrive at the home where the happy Nastya and Andriy awaited the birth of their first child not so long ago.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Ina.
Are you Andriy?
Yes, the husband.
I see the letter K. Did anyone whose name starts with a K die?
The baby, his name was Kirilo.
The baby was still in his mother's womb, but the parents already knew their boy's name would be Kirilo.
I feel that the name somehow influenced the boy's fate. And when I saw the letter K, it doubled. There must be another dead child in their family with that name.
Grandma had twins, Lev and Kirilo. My grandmother.
As it turned out, the grandmother's twins also died during the delivery.
Everyone knows that naming children after the deceased is not recommended, because the child might repeat the deceased person's fate. The name Kirilo indeed influenced the baby's fate, but it doesn't explain the mother's death. You met when she was still very young. She was your first, true, and only love.
I fell in love with her at the first glance.
Those huge brown eyes.
Her eyes were mesmerizing. There was something extraordinary and magical about them.
They started dating when she was still in school. He was her first love, and she married him in the end.
The couple got married when Nastya turned 19. Andriy's parents bought the young couple an apartment in the city as a wedding present. The young man personally renovated the place and brought his young wife to their new home.
She would call me and say, "Mom, Andriy bought me this or that." Rings, necklaces, earrings, Beautiful things like that.
Andrei was building his career and tried to provide his beautiful wife with everything she needed.
She did her best to keep herself in shape and was merciless to herself. A tighter belt and not eating too much. And she did all this so everyone would envy you and admire your beautiful wife. She loved you so much. Tell me, why do I sense that her body was poisoned by some strong substance? There's poison in her body.
The cause of Nastia's death was intoxication, which, in simple terms, is poisoning. Perhaps this is what the psychic is referring to.
They said an infection started when the fetus died.
It takes a few days of a baby decomposing in the womb for toxic substances to appear and start poisoning the mother. But Nastia had seen a doctor that morning.
If the doctors made a mistake, it will be on their conscience. What do you see?
She's little. Like I see her from afar.
Is it a woman?
A little girl. She shows me a stroller, a crib, and a house. Find the house. So, it's not an apartment building. Did you live in a house?
Yes. Our village is about a 20-minute drive from here.
I recognized her. She was the same little girl from my vision yesterday. She showed me the human head on a platter. Let's go there. That's where the answer lies, I think.
The psychics arrive at the family's old house inn after dark, but they continue working.
Can I come in?
Sure.
Something terrible happened here. The earth is soaked with the maternal grief of a woman who ate her own flesh. I see the dismembered body of a child. The woman ate her own child.
Dear God.
Do you know who I'm talking about? She knocks on every door asking for bread. And a man, your blood relative, throws her out. You weren't born yet.
She extends her thin arms.
She looks, but her baby is not breathing.
I have goosebumps all over my body.
There were indeed cases of cannibalism during the Holodomor of the 1930s in this village. The people who survived are no longer alive. However, our journalists did find a woman whose entire family, except for 4 children, perished in the famine.
Her mother had 11 children. 4 survived, all the rest died in the famine.
Katerina Radchenko wasn't born yet, but she still can't forget the story her mother told her about a village woman who, driven by hunger, ate her own baby.
In the evening, she lay with her baby, and in the morning they found her, but the baby was gone. She had eaten her.
She condemned herself for the rest of her days. May God forgive her. We didn't live in those times.
This is simply horrifying to think about what people, driven to madness by hunger, had to go through. But how is this story connected to Nastia and her baby's death?
The woman from my vision kept repeating, "It killed us." She was talking about the hunger. The hunger killed her and her baby. And Nastia's death is also somehow linked to starvation.
Nastia's blood was like water in her veins. Didn't she eat properly? Or what was it?
She dieted. She induced vomiting.
It's unimaginable. Did she starve herself when she was pregnant?
During the entire pregnancy, she would run up to me, show me her butt, and shout that it was too big and that she needed to do something about it.
Her greatest fear was to gain weight and lose her shape. She refused to eat.
But you didn't know about it.
I noticed she had lost weight. I even had a word with Andrei about it, but he said he liked her like that.
This is called anorexia.
Nastia's starvation added fuel to the fire. Her and her baby's death were part of some karmic program. By refusing to eat, she essentially deprived herself of the strength and resources to fight for her life.
In the case of anorexia, when a woman's body has already exhausted all its reserves, sooner or later, a tragic outcome is inevitable.
Can we get inside?
Of course.
The vision of the severed head on a platter wouldn't leave my mind. Whose head was that? And who was the little girl running around it with a mirror?
Olena, did you see it? Someone entered.
I didn't see.
God, Olena!
Sophia, where are you going?
What happened? Why did the psychic run out of the house like a bullet?
Olena, do you hear that? A motorcycle engine.
A motorcycle.
There he is.
Sophia, where are you going?
A moment. There on the motorcycle. Do you see him? A young man. I feel sick. He rode straight at me. He hit me with his motorcycle. It was the same motorcyclist who woke me up the day before the investigation. I woke up to the roar of a motorcycle. The spirit rushed past me. He shouted, "He died because of me." Nastia's child died because of me.
Does this mean it all happened because of my brother?
Did you have a brother?
Yes, I did. He crashed on his motorcycle.
As it turned out, Ina did have an elder brother, Ivan, who died at the age of 20. Ina was in high school at the time, but how could the dead young man be connected to Nastia and her baby's death?
I hear fighting and screaming. It's you and your brother.
He beat me.
Why?
Over a mirror. I had powder then. He asked me for the mirror from there. He needed it for his motorcycle.
But you refused.
I did. And he started punching me violently.
And he died a few hours after that fight.
Yes.
The little girl running around the severed head with a mirror in her hands was Ina herself. The mirror she used to make sunlight reflections was the same one her brother beat her for. And then I understood whose head was on the platter. Did it happen on a church holiday?
Beheading of St. John the Baptist.
Oh my goodness, may God have mercy.
It was the head of John the Baptist. What happened to Nastia and her baby is connected to the date of his beheading.
John the Baptist was executed thousands of years ago on the same day Ina's brother died. The legend has it that his head was cut off. People say that on this date you should not use a knife and/or touch any circular objects that resemble a human head in shape. Fighting is also prohibited, especially hitting your own sister on the head because of a round mirror.
On this holiday, everything circular has a mystical significance, especially a mirror. Your brother did something unforgivable on this holy day. He beat his own sister to the point of drawing blood.
My nose was bruised and I had a black eye.
But how could this affect the death of Nastia and the unborn Kirilo?
Wait, Ina, tell me one thing. Did you curse him?
He beat me, and I cried, but did nothing. And then I looked at him, and he turned pale as clay. He said, "Go ahead, look, you're seeing me for the last time."
You experienced an internal offense. You know, an unconscious curse. And now, there's a curse on the boys in your family. If it had been a girl, she would have been born.
The first boy.
You need to perform a karmic ritual for your family. Go to 7 churches and light candles in front of the icon of Virgin Mary, asking her for the continuation of your family line. On the day of St. John's beheading, repeat the same ritual, but in 3 churches.
I am so grateful to you.
Mysterious death of a young man. Murder or suicide? Don't miss it. The psychics uncover a series of mysterious deaths. Friday, November 25th. A date 53-year-old Ukrainian woman, Lyubov Kondratyuk, will never forget. Evening. She returned home from work. For many years, she had been working in the cafeteria of a boarding house near the capital of Ukraine. The doorbell rings. Standing on the threshold was her son's friend with terrible news. Kostya is dead.
He's crying and says, Aunt Lyuba, Kostya is gone. And I say, what do you mean gone?
28-year-old Kostya Kondratyuk was found hanging in his own garage.
I got dressed and ran to the garage. He was already lying there, dead.
The official police version, suicide. But Lyubov doesn't believe it. Just hours before his death, Kostya was in a great mood, showing his mother new clothes.
He was so happy. He bought himself 2 jackets, shoes, sneakers. He tried them on and asked, do you like them? I said, very much.
For over a year, the young man worked as a sales representative for a company that produced motor oils and lubricants. Lyubov's son had promised she would soon become a grandmother. He was planning to propose to his girlfriend.
He said he was planning to propose.
Kostya's family and friends are convinced someone was involved in his death.
He wouldn't just do that. I don't believe it.
No one believes he could have done that. The garage has a high ceiling. He was on his knees, right by the edge.
The method of partial hanging while kneeling is quite complicated. Death comes more slowly and painfully. Moreover, there's also a chance the survival instinct will kick in. The person will push off the ground with their feet and avoid death. The height of the garage and the presence of metal beams on the ceiling made it possible for Kostya to commit what's known as a full hanging.
I don't know how to explain this.
To understand what really happened to her son, Lyubov Kondratyuk contacted psychic Kayal Alekperov. Kayal Alekperov received Lyubov's letter while he was at home in Azerbaijan.
I'll try to figure out what happened from a distance. I'll ask my colleagues to meet the mother of the deceased and work on site.
The investigation is taken up by clairvoyant Zhana Shulikova and medium Jake Ryder.
I see a young man with 2 other guys. There are 3 of them, all dead.
This young man was murdered. But he's not the only victim. I see 2 more victims.
I close my eyes and I'm in semi-darkness. I hear the roar of an engine. On an energetic level, it's like some kind of machine took this young man to the other world.
What does Kayal Alekperov mean? What does the car have to do with it? Zhana Shulikova and Jake Ryder are already near Kostya's house. The mother of the deceased comes out to meet them.
I'm glad you came. Please come into the house. This is the room where he lived.
For the woman, this room is like a silent reminder of the happy times with her son that can never be returned.
The last thing he bought was a sweater. He tossed it carelessly, and it's still lying there.
Now the only things holding Lyubov to this world are her 33-year-old daughter and her little grandson.
He came back here in the evening.
He came home from work.
He was planning something, meeting friends, something like that.
It was Friday evening. The weekend was ahead. Kostya went out to meet his friends in the courtyard.
That evening, Kostya met up with friends outside, but then someone called him. He left the group. What happened next is very strange. The boy walked into what felt like a thick fog and disappeared into nowhere.
We found one of the friends who was with Kostya on the last night of his life. His name is Andriy. Like Kostya, he has a garage. That's where the group gathered.
Kostya came by that night too. His phone rang. He stepped outside to talk. I don't know who it was.
The psychics and Lyubov head to the garage where her son was found hanged. The mother says the garage was like a second home for her son. He spent nearly all his free time here, often working on car repairs and tuning.
I see a face, but the face isn't at my eye level for some reason. It's lower.
He was on his knees. He wasn't hanging.
Before your son died, someone was watching him. A person.
But who could it have been?
It was strange. We could sense that someone was involved in the boy's death, but whether it was a man, a woman, or even someone from the other side, it wasn't clear.
I realized. Most likely that evening Kostya was talking on the phone with someone he loved.
He was making plans about his personal life that night. The people involved were located quite far away.
It turned out that Kostya's girlfriend, Svitlana, lives in the other region. His grandmother is from the same village. The young couple met by chance. First, just hanging out in the same group. Later, they started dating.
He constantly went to her village and spent all his time with her.
That night, the deceased called his girlfriend.
He was talking to the girl from the village on the phone.
It's very likely that this phone call was the reason Kostya left his friends that night. But what happened after?
It's like some otherworldly entity had been chasing Kostya all the time, but it wasn't only pulling him to the other side. I saw 3 other guys just like him, and something linked them all together. The friends seemed to be somehow connected.
Who are the young men the clairvoyant sees, and how are their deaths connected to Kostya's?
A car. The guys were all into cars. One of the 3 looked exactly like Lubov's son. They looked alike, were born around the same time, had similar education.
He had a classmate. That one was born on March 5th, and Kostya on June 5th.
Was he sick?
Yes.
I feel burning inside.
It was his pancreas.
Vasyl Yurchenko was 25, Kostya's classmate, neighbor, and best friend. He worked as an electrician. They both loved cars. Vasyl dreamed of becoming a long-haul trucker in a few years.
He wanted to go abroad to work as a driver.
But that dream never came true. He suddenly fell ill. He passed away 3 years before Kostya. Cause of death, acute pancreatitis.
He always said that Vasyl was the friend I truly missed.
These boys weren't meant to die. We needed to find out who had pulled them into the other world. We had to meet Vasyl's parents.
The psychics head to the neighboring house where Vasyl's parents live. It turns out they don't believe their son got sick by chance. They suspect magical interference.
Maybe someone cursed him or something like that.
I don't see a chronic illness, I see a very short period during which a person simply burns out.
On the 31st, he came home. We told him, "Son, have some champagne for New Year." He said, "No, I already had some with my fiancé, and that's enough."
It was New Year's Eve. Vasyl celebrated with his girlfriend. He rarely drank, but didn't refuse a traditional glass of champagne. On January 1st, he fell ill.
We took him to the emergency room.
The ambulance brought the young man to the city hospital, where he was diagnosed with acute pancreatitis.
He basically got sick and burned out in the hospital bed. It's horrifying.
Strangely, he had never complained about pancreatic issues before, and there were no injuries to his abdominal area.
I believe the deceased, Vasyl, tried to warn someone close to him about the upcoming death of his friend.
Incredibly, a month before Kostya was found hanged, Vasyl appeared in his father's dream.
He talked about Kostya, said he would die. I'm waiting for him.
Something terrifying pulled your sons into the other world.
Let's go outside. The energy in here is heavy.
Let's go.
We've got one boy, then another, and there are more. It's like something was spinning a person around, like in a centrifuge.
There was another boy who crashed his car right here in the yard.
As it turned out, Kostya and Vasil had another close friend, Roman Bodan. He was 20 at the time of his death. He was studying to be a tax officer, already in his 4th year. To earn some money, he worked as a security guard at a parking lot. He died in a car accident 7 years ago.
The third boy lived in this same yard. I don't feel any of his relatives here now.
No, his parents aren't here.
This boy must have had a premonition about his own death.
The boy who died in the crash sensed who was pulling him to the other side. Somehow he saw that entity from beyond, and it killed him so he could never reveal the truth.
What force took the lives of these 3 young men, and why was it hunting them?
In life, the deceased boys were obsessed with cars, and now, in the afterlife, it's like they're taking part in some kind of rally. I still don't understand what that means.
The families and neighbors of the deceased told us that Kostya, Vasil, and Roman weren't just car owners. They were completely obsessed with them.
All the friends were taken by the same force. That's how entities usually take people.
This is a very tangled case. I'll try to reach out to the prophets to see if they can send me a sign. A spirit has just come to me, a man I didn't know in life. In his past life, he lived in Sweden and was a race car driver. Not just any driver, a champion. The spirit says his life ended in a terrible crash. The last thing he remembers is a massive fire.
We can't confirm this with absolute certainty, but it seems such a person really did exist. In 1978, Swedish racing driver and world vice champion Ronnie Peterson died. On September 10th, during a race in Italy, a horrific crash occurred. A judge made a mistake switching the start light signal, causing several cars to lose control and collide. Debris flew across the track and spilled fuel ignited. The race was stopped.
This spirit says he's the one who took the boys to the other side.
But how is that even possible?
After dying in Italy, his soul entered the body of a Ukrainian boy. He had the same intense passion for cars and speed, but he died very young. He was murdered.
What the psychic said is almost impossible to comprehend, as Jake Ryder and Jana Shulikova had already sensed the death of another boy, the one who seems to be connected to the deaths of Kostya, Vasil, and Roman.
I see the death of another young man. He also lived nearby and was a friend of the 3 boys who died.
A boy who lived in this building was murdered.
How long ago?
16 years ago.
Sasha Ivanishin was 16. He was finishing school. On April 7th, he was found dead.
According to his parents, Sasha Ivanishin left home at 7:45 in the morning and headed to school. But as it turned out, he never made it there. Around 10 a.m., near one of the buildings of the local sanatorium, staff discovered Sasha's body. The police's official version, suicide.
That sanatorium is nearly a kilometer from the school where he studied. His mother still doesn't understand how he ended up there.
We need to talk to his mother.
Halina, come here please, to the gazebo.
Halina Ivanishina, the mother of the deceased Sasha, has lived in this building for over 30 years. The women have known each other for a long time.
We came here to find out why this woman's son died, but we saw that his death is somehow linked to the other boys who died in your courtyard. One of them was your son. All the threads lead to him.
I want to return to the day the boy died. In my reading, the child was either walking or taking transport from home to somewhere crowded.
That would be school, yes.
Locals saw Sasha getting on a bus at the stop near his house, but he never made it to school, and just 2 hours later, his body was found.
I have no idea how he could have ended up there.
He ended up in a group of 3 people. These were older individuals. Adult men, actually. Not the right company. He found it exciting that they were older. Then a kind of conflict breaks out. They're yelling at him, accusing him of something, pushing him, and then he must have fallen somewhere.
Halina says she saw injuries on her son's body that for some reason weren't mentioned in the forensic report.
There were 3 bruises on his face.
Such injuries could have resulted either from direct blows to the face or from someone covering his mouth and nose to prevent him from screaming.
I see that a few days before his death, this boy was playing cards.
I pulled the money card.
We found a man 1 year younger than the deceased who studied at the same school. He didn't want to show his face on camera.
That guy played cards. He was into gambling. People say they saw him going into the sanatorium to play a few rounds.
Could Sasha have lost money and owed someone? But why would they kill him?
I wouldn't say it was a large debt, they just wanted to frighten him.
As it became known after Sasha's death, his parents tried to uncover additional facts related to the possible murder of their son. That was when they began receiving anonymous phone calls with threats of physical violence. One day, the father of the deceased was brutally beaten. During the attack, the assailants warned him that if he didn't stop his investigation, other members of his family could be harmed as well.
There was a time when we were getting threats, phone calls. They called my daughter and me. Said things like, "Don't forget you still have a daughter and a granddaughter." We wanted to conduct our own investigation to find out the truth. But cars followed my husband from his work. Once, near our garage, a car pulled up. He got out, and 3 men followed him into the garage and began beating him. He asked, "Why are you hitting me?" And they cursed and said, "You know well why."
The woman insists that the threats were connected to their attempts to uncover the truth about her son's death.
We decided to stop all actions. No more talking to anyone, no more traveling, no more stirring anything up. Just live quietly. But for my son's sake, I decided to come here and listen to what the psychics have to say.
What really happened to Sasha? And how are the deaths of all these boys connected?
Here's what I see, the first death. It's like the starting point. After that, the other deaths followed.
It sounds unbelievable, but the mother of one of the deceased recalled a strange dream she had on the night Roman died.
I dreamed that my Sasha was driving a car. Another boy from our courtyard, who also died, was with him. And the other boy asked, "Sasha, where are you going?" And he answered, "We're going to meet our friend. He's arrived. We're going to celebrate."
I realized that the late Sasha was in the car with Vasil, who died from pancreatitis. They were on their way to meet Roman, who died in a car crash, and then the 3 of them were waiting for Kostya. Did they have similar interests? Were they all obsessed with cars?
Very much so. He loved cars a lot, absolutely.
So it turns out all 4 boys shared a passion, and your son Halina especially loved speed.
Yes.
The late Sasha imagined himself as a race car driver, because in a past life, he actually was one. I can feel the scent of adrenaline, the thrill, the passion for cars. This is the same champion who died in Italy, and whose spirit was reborn in Sasha.
In life, Sasha loved cars, speed, and racing. He dreamed of taking part in races, but he never got the chance. He was killed, and now he's pulling the boys from his neighborhood with him to the other side.
So does that mean Kostya took his own life, that no one killed him?
Given the fact that the garage doors were locked from the inside with a heavy metal bolt, it was Kostya himself who shut them, meaning it was suicide.
Sadly, we cannot bring your sons back, but we must do everything to make sure no more young men die in this area.
Thank you. Please do.
Yes, Jake and I will do everything possible.
To perform the ritual, the psychics head deep into the local forest so that no one can disturb them.
Sasha's parents still grieve deeply for him. That's why his soul is stuck between the world of the living and the world of the dead, and Sasha is pulling the boys from his courtyard with him to the afterlife.
Thank you so much, truly. I don't even know what to say. You've opened our eyes. Honestly.